Treasure. I'm Diane Pruitt. Welcome. We're at Two Girls Treasure in Florence, South Carolina, just off I-95, north or south. And today on Mixology Monday, we're going to dig into a product that I have been waiting a really long time to dig into. Not because I didn't think I could do it. I was waiting for someone to come from out of town so that we could work this product together. So come on in the studio. We're going to be here for a little while, and we're going to work this new product called Pal Tiya. Have you ever heard of it? You're going to love this. I'm looking for my roll of paper because I want to lay a piece of paper down on the table so that I don't pick up any dirt. And you know it's not where I can reach for it quickly. Of course not. Well, I think we'll be all right. I'll just wipe the table down really well with some alcohol wipes. The first part of our Pal Tiya is just going to be mixing. It is a really unique modeling product. You can create sculptures. It is weather resistant. So once you create your sculpture with your Pal Tiya, you can put it outside. That's what it's made for. And unlike working with clay or resin, this has this is supposed to have some really unique features. Boy, that table's dirty. Some unique abilities, I should say. So if you want to create a certain shape, you will have the ability to do that. So this is not just your average clay, although we are going to use it in our mold sets today. This really is about sculpting. So I think what we could do is start with our molds just to get our feet wet, so to speak, working with this product. And then I think we could actually move into some bigger and better things with it. You always want to test the waters where you're comfortable, right? Pal Tiya. Let's take this out of the box. There's some of it spilled, so we will recapture that. Pal Tiya. Neat name. Amazing product. It is a 4-to-1 ratio mix. It says it's designed for easily building outdoor permanent sculptures. Non-firing, weatherproof, strong, resistant to freezing. Create your own garden pieces, pots, planters, memorials, and more. 4 parts Pal Tiya to 1 part water. We're going to mix it, knead it, make it dough, mix it some more. Ooh, you can use an electric mixer for this too. We're not going to go that far. All right, you ready to dig in? Say hello if you come in. Thank you for being patient with me this morning. I had a lot to clean up from last week. All right, this is like dry clay. I don't know if you can see real well in there. It looks like dried, chunked up clay. And I guess it kind of is. So we need something to measure with. And I have my 1/4 cup measuring cup right here. We'll use the clean one. I'm going to use a 1/4 cup. So if we use, oh, and it has, you can see the little flakes of hair in it as well. So if we use a 1/4 cup, that doesn't seem like it's going to make very much. You know me, more is more, so we're going for it. All right, this is a 1/2 cup. Ooh, don't breathe over the top of it. It's dusty. All right, so if we took I really want to play with this. So this is where we're going to be today. That's 3. And that's 4. All right, this is a resealable bag. Apparently it dumped out in the box because I didn't seal it back properly. Because when I got this, no, you know what? It wasn't sealed in the box because I just cracked that seal open this morning to go live with you. It wasn't me this time. But I am going to set that to the side. Whoosh! Now, since I did my measuring the simple way, I'll crack this open. 4 parts to Pal Tiya to 1 part of water. We did 1 full cup of Pal Tiya, 1/4 cup at a time, which means we need a 1/4 cup of water. And in we go. Cool thing is you can adjust your mix. So if it's too thin, you can add more. If it's too thick, you can add more water. And if you splash it out, just wipe it clean. So let's get all of the moisture incorporated. And I am going to go ahead and grab an alcohol wipe because I slung the Pal Tiya all the way across the counter onto the next table where I have product sitting. And yes, I got it on it. For love's sake. And it's pink. It's my pink bow. It's my pink wreath. We don't want that. I don't want it to dry on there. But of course I splashed it. So let me get it out of those grooves because we just don't want it there at all. That's pretty in pink. We don't want pretty in pink Pal Tiya right now. All right. Keep mixing. Let's get all of this mixed in. There are some really cool artist, like legit, not like me, but legit artist products done with Pal Tiya. Beautiful, beautiful sculptures. So I feel so inadequate using this product, but I've waited a long time to try it. And I did speak with them before I ever made the purchase, and yes, in fact, you can use it for molds. I'm just making sure I have all of the product wet. It makes this muddy clay finish actually pretty cool. It looks like dirt. So if you've ever played in the mud and made mud sculptures, this episode is for you. Welcome in. Welcome to the studio at Two Girls Treasure. I'm going to go ahead and knead this in the container. I'm just going to roll it over itself. And work it together. And make a nice firm ball of Pal Tiya clay. And just like making a good dough, pull it apart, run it back into itself, squish it around, roll it back into itself. It was exactly the right ratio. I might have overfilled the water just a little bit because I wanted exactly a 1/4 cup, and I probably did a 1/4 cup and a piece. That's how I measure things. Y'all know I don't usually measure anything. Unless it's the first time I do a project, and then I measure. And I would think that I would be smart if I made sure I measured this product. Ooh, kind of neat. Let's roll it out on the table. I have some packing paper right here. Let's use this because I can see right now what's fixing to happen. I'm going to make an absolute mess. And because this surface serves so many purposes in my life, let me just lay some paper down. There we go. And we will use this packing paper to knead our dough out. It's just like making a pie crust or biscuits. Not the kind in the can. I don't know if this is going to hold up because of the moisture. It's not. So much for the paper idea. Let's go one step further. There's that. Oh, I probably knocked it in the floor, didn't I? Of course I did. It's that kind of morning, y'all. Got it. Got it. I'm just going to put a piece of acetate down. That'll give me something to work on. Because I don't want to work it out on the table and mess up the table. I don't think it'll mess it up, but I use the table for so much that I don't want to contaminate my surface one project to the next. The paper's not going to work because of the moisture content in the clay. But it is nice, and it's getting nice and firm as I'm rolling it. Really glad to have my green gloves on. They're a little bit too big because they don't make these in a small. But I think we've reached where we need to be for this. Now, I'm all about plant pots this time of the year. I'm all about plant pots every time of the year. This is a little juicy, but that's a nice pat of clay. I'm glad I went with a cup because that's all we got out of a cup of clay. But I think that's going to be sufficient for our project today. So let me move the paper out of the way and grab my mold sets. And let's see which one we want to work. Ooh, I have purple gloves. Let me grab my purple gloves because they fit. I'll wash these because these are washable and reusable. I'll hang them up to dry and we'll use those another day. In my mind, I was really set on the unicorns. I really like the unicorns. I also love the tulips. Yep, that's where we're gonna go. So let's grab a couple of planters, just your very basic terracotta planters. Nothing special there. Nothing extraordinary. Oh, this one's already painted. Looks cute. It's just a little bit of a thing. All right. These fit my hands so much better. We have tulips. We have rabbits. I love the rabbit laying down. All right, now, dun, dun, dun. I have our cornstarch. Because we're working with a clay, we probably should be working with a cornstarch, wouldn't you think? Let's try it and see. I'm going to try to tip the camera down a little bit so you can see how this goes. I don't think it's going to be terribly different than working with our regular clays. I could be wrong. Let's do, I want the rabbit, so let's go ahead and dust the rabbit cavity so that when we put the Pal Tiya in, we have what we need. And I love this big fat tulip because I think we can cascade it across one of the planters. And I'm sure we're going to have more than what we need. So let me grab another tall planter. And that way we'll have something that coordinates with the size of the tulip. And we'll use this leaf set to go with it. A little bit more cornstarch. And there we go. All right, so mix by volume. 15 minutes of sculpting time followed by 2 hours of gradual stiffening. So, pretty sure this is going to take longer than the time that we have today. So, I'm going to go ahead and peel off enough to do my tulip. I'm going to kind of shape it before I put it in. And we'll just go ahead and I really think the micro rim is going to be super handy here. At least I hope it will be. It is. And then we can smooth our clay. And again, this is a really different kind of clay, y'all. This is not like an air dry clay. This is a completely different product line. This is for sculpting. And do I want to sculpt something? I do. What am I going to sculpt? I have no idea. What would you sculpt if you had a sculpting medium to work with? I don't know. It's that thing about there's so many things I could do. What would I do? And I don't know that I could be sure what I would do. What have I always wanted to sculpt? I'm all about some beautiful flowers. So I can see that being a real thing in my life. And I love these mold sets. So I do tend to lean toward the florals. What's the demold time on this? You know what? Today I don't know. We're going to find out. This is the very first time I have ever played with this product. It's squishy, it feels sandy, it has little fibrous hairs in it because it's a sculpting medium, but it is usable in your molds. I would definitely recommend the cornstarch. I may have gotten my mix a little bit more damp than I should have, so it may take a little bit longer for it to dry. But it's all in. The micro rim edge was helpful, but it doesn't act the same way. It doesn't move the same way as our air dry clay. So the micro rim edge was helpful, but it didn't just clean it off. You know how when you push against that micro rim, it just cleans it off all at one time. And it's kind of nice. It didn't do that. Not the same kind of medium. But we're going to try this. All right, so it's in the tulip and the leaves, just like it should be. Nice and dark, rich, earthy toned. I don't know that I can actually demold that right this minute. I think I'm going to let it sit for a minute before I try. There we go. I need to leave it alone. Let's do the rabbit. I'm going to work this just a little bit before I put it in. I know I'm just hearing the building creak. Or it could be our ghosty George. It could be George. All right. You know, I think I actually have enough to do one of the standing bunnies too, rabbits. I might do that. Let's see what I have here. And the cool thing is, you can do this thin. You really probably ought to do this thin, since it does take so long to dry. So let's do the rabbit. Let's do the sitting down rabbit thin and see what our difference is between the rabbit dry time and the tulips dry time. They're not the same. Let's see. I've got this covered up. This tulip takes, no, that's not even that one. This one doesn't have the measurements on it, the weights on it. Okay, so who knows? Yeah, it does. 22, 32. So this tulip takes 32, and the rabbit takes 30. So you know what? 30, and that's milliliters, 45 grams, and 48 grams. So they take just about the same amount of clay product. So let's do the rabbit thin, and we filled up the cavity on the tulip. Let's see what the difference in dry time will be. Okay, there we go. Not completely, not, the rabbit's filled in, but it's not flush level with the top surface of the mold set. Not completely filled in, just filled thinly. And I'll tell you what I want to do. Wish I had a smaller piece. I'm going to do this tulip top right here. I'm not going to do the stem. I'm just going to do the tulip top. Let's see, and I didn't put any cornstarch in, but let's see if it will demold easily, quickly. Let's see what it does. Oh, it does. Just like that. Now, I probably should have put cornstarch in, but that worked. That worked just fine. Now I have a tulip top and no stem, but cute. Cute nonetheless. So let's set that to the side to dry. Let's leave that just like it is. I might use it. Do you want to demold these? We could. Let's leave them for just another minute. Let's go ahead and do our tall rabbit, because now I want to do everything. Now that I see that it will demold just fine, now I want to do absolutely everything. And it's squishy like mud. It really is. I can't wait to see how this dries. Fully paintable, whatever artisanal paints you love. Of course, you know we're going to use our Rethunk Junk paint by Laura. The ears, the eyes, the little pink bunny nose. Oh, I went to smooth it and pulled my rabbit ear out. You got to be careful with the rabbit ears on this mold set because they are thin. They are not very deep. And you can't pull on this the same way you pull on regular air dry clay. It doesn't feel like it pulls the same. Let me clean up my little bits. Clean off my scraper edge. Still have more to work with. That's awesome. All right. Since we did the tulips first, let's demold the tulips first. No better time than right now to start. Let's do this. Well, my tulip stem is right on the edge of the mold set. There we go. So every time I peel back, it pushes back. All right, so far so good. Just rolling it out gently. Here comes the big portion. And she's out. Nice. All right, let me lift this up. I'm going to scooch this to the side. I say that like I mean it. It is wet. I can see the moisture on top of it. I can also see where I used the cornstarch. I think I'm really going to like this. Nice. Let's get the stem out. Let's see how that rolls out. It's pretty much coming out on its own. Need a little encouragement right there because I had an extra piece. And it rolls right back out. That rolled out really nicely. Did y'all see that? So we're going to scooch this over right beside it. Y'all, I think this is going to be an amazing experiment. So let's get our rabbit out. Let me get my little bits off the acetate sheet. Collect those all up so we can use them again. And let's roll these rabbits out. Let's start down here on the end with this little laying down rabbit. I messed up his ear. But you know what? This is a sculpting clay, so I'll bet I can fix it pretty easily. Yeah, he came out good. I don't think that that was the clay. I think that was a me thing. Now let's try our standing rabbit. I'm going to roll from the bottom up because the ears, they're very thin on both the standing and the laying down. The ears are not real deep. So there we go. He rolled out just fine. Now the cool thing is I can see the little cracks like you would normally have with the regular air dry clay with the Pal Tiya. I should be doing this with a palette knife. You can just sculpt it back together. Little cracks in the detail work, you can just sculpt it back together. And you take your brush, you can take your palette knife. The fibers, you can really see where the fibers hold everything together. And I can just resculpt those ear pieces. And I think that's the big portion of the ear. You know, I'll just press some in for the shape. Pull it back out. Pull my gloves out of my way. And lay that in and shape around it. I got out my spoons. There's my little cheap plastic palette knife. All right, so let's shape this. Oh yeah. New game, leveled up, new product, Pal Tiya, Paltiya. It is a powder mix, mixes with water, non-toxic, but don't eat it. Amazing. Pull the excess off. I'm in love, y'all. I am in love with this product. I hope you take a minute to look it up. I'm not an affiliate. I don't retail it. I was introduced to it and I wanted to try it. Now, my belief is I cannot wait for these to dry until I apply them to the pot, because if I do, they'll be hard and they're not going to be pliable. This is not going to be a pliable product after it's dry. So while we're sitting here, let's go ahead and let's apply at least, well, let's go ahead and apply these to our surface. Oh, he went on there so beautifully. Let me grab the glue. I guess in certain circumstances, the images, the clay pieces might go straight on and not need glue. Um, I'm going to glue it just because good measure. And I'm putting a clay product on a clay product, but one is fired and dry and one is clearly not. So just a gentle swing, and our rabbit is on our pot. And now our rabbit will dry to the shape that we want it, which is rounded to the pot. I think that's going to make a beautiful planter. And we may add some more to it, but right now I want to lay the edges down gently. And it actually laid right down. Like, I'm not having to force any of the edges down. So we're going to let that dry. We're going to leave that right there. Prop it up and let it dry. And I have a couple of these, so we're going to do more than one this morning. As long as I don't break it. So one has 2 stripes, one has 1. They can both be painted over. I like the 2 stripes for the tulips. So we're going to use the 1 stripe for the rabbit. And I'll reshape his ear once I lay him on, because I pulled his ear apart when I picked him up. The ears are really thin, so be cautious. And I might have way too much glue on this. Let me get a good brush to run the glue in. There we go. This will be a good brush to use. This is what putty in my hands feels like. Because that's what this feels like. It feels like putty in my hands. It's so pliable right now. So soft to work with, but very well defined. I think that's kind of cool. All right, I'm going to lay my glue down and apply my rabbit gently. Just going to let it roll off my hand. Oh, we've got to straighten him up. He took a turn. And there we go. Really cool because I have the ability to move this around and reshape it as I'm laying it down. I could actually even tip that ear over if I wanted to. I don't want to, but I could. Very, very movable. I love it. Let's see how he stands up if I stand him up. He's heavy. He's going to slide, so we don't want to do that. It's definitely a heavier product than our regular clays. Excuse me. Bless me. It's pollen season in South Carolina. What a beautiful, beautiful finish. All right, let's lay him down here. And now let's do the tulips on this pot. And we still have a pat of clay left to work with. We'll do something else. But let's scoop this tulip. Let's go ahead and put the flower on first. And let's run the glue smooth so we have good contact. Although I feel like we're going to have really good contact with this product no matter the surface that we work with. Today we're just working with the terracotta pots, but I think no matter what surface we work with, when we demold and get ready to place these, I think we're going to have really good contact. So I'm going to come up, lay that in, flop it over is more like what happened there. It just makes perfect contact with the surface immediately. It is heavier. It is much heavier. But I think that's to our advantage. All right, let me set that still, and let's get our, I have a tulip top we could place in here as well. I don't have any stem for it. And we're going to want, I'm going to need to move that. This should go here. And we will want to run those together. Those should go together. And we could probably just peek this over the top. Although that's not how tulips grow, so maybe not. All right, let's get some glue on this piece. It's kind of like pottery clay without needing to be fired. So I'm feeling like there are so many applications for this that we just haven't even thought to explore yet. But today was a good start. Sometimes all you have to do to start is just start. Just do it. Had that conversation this morning with a teenager. It's so real. Just start. Ooh, we slid over. Look at that. Come on back. Come on back. There we go. No worries. We're going to paint. We'll meld those together real quick. So we want, what a beautiful, beautiful piece. If you've ever wanted to be a sculptor, but then again, no. We don't want to make potions and travel and show, but this we want to do every day. Although we cannot. Not realistically. Absolutely gorgeous. We've got the tulip, we've got the leaves for the tulip, and once we paint this, we'll have some beautiful stripes around it. Once this dries, I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm going to have to watch this one because of the size. I'm going to have to be cautious about leaving it alone and not keeping an eye on it. We have just enough Oh, and we're almost at the end of the open time for it. I can feel it. It changed. It got a little more firm, a little less moist. I know you hate that word, I'm sorry. But let's go ahead before this is not workable. I can add a little bit more water to it. It is, you can add to it if you need to. So I could spritz this right quick. I'm probably not going to. I think I still have enough moisture and time, but I can feel the difference in it. So small batches is probably best. So we probably mixed just right. But we are going to go ahead and use this up. So that we don't waste any of it. And I think you can actually put it in a container with a lid, put it in the fridge. I don't like to say use a Ziploc bag because I just don't feel like they do the job. But as long as it is contained, air is not your friend with these products. They're clay. Air dries them out. And just reworking it changed the texture again. So we did the right thing at the right time. We got it in there. I'm going to go ahead and smooth that. I have an idea for this last little bit. So I'm going to demold this quickly, gently. Oh, I lost the top pieces of it. I was not careful. Let's see if I can fish them out of here. I don't think so. I think I might have to mold that again. Yeah, I squished it. Well, you know what? It's the little pieces. And did I just not? No, I didn't put any cornstarch in there. So let's do that over. Let's cornstarch it. Gosh, when you get an idea, do you just go for it and forget the detail work? Here we go. All right, one more time. We're going to roll this one single tulip back in with it. And we're going to let those dry. I can see the rabbit a little bit starting to gray out where it's drying, but it's going to take a couple of hours, so time is time. And we will see in a couple of hours how these work out. I'm going to try to do this right this time with cornstarch in the mold. Cornstarch is a must. And I'm so lazy about putting cornstarch in the mold set that I just forgot. I get so excited about what I can do, I forget to do what I'm supposed to do. But we know, without exception, that we need that cornstarch in that mold. I'm going to roll that back so it's mostly flat. We are beeping today. got the doors open. It's absolutely beautiful. Come by and see us. If you're leaving town, if you're leaving Darlington Raceway, stop by on your way home. Grab those things that you had intended to get before you went to NASCAR. It's a fabulous race. I think I'd better be patient. I think I'd better let that sit for just a minute. And settle before I try to demold it. And then what I'm going to try to do, because it just occurs to me, I'll probably make a second piece and put a tip in there so that we have a beautiful egg, or make a base for it and sit it up so that um, we can stand it up. The beep beeping, well, that's for here. Apparently we have a delivery coming in, so I'm going to dip out and see what we have coming in for spring. It's not more Pal Tiya because that came by the mailbox. Y'all, this is a really cool product. Thank you for sharing the time with me today while I made this. And I am looking forward to making some more things, uh, getting creative with it, doing my own designs. And if you want some Pal Tiya time in the studio, let me know. We will make that arrangement. In the meantime, I hope you have a beautiful day. Happy Monday to you. Happy spring 2026. Thanks for being here. Have a beautiful day. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I'll see you right back here tomorrow morning. Bye, y'all.